Do you sometimes struggle with PvP? Do you sometimes get your ass kicked by salty 12-year-olds?
They had me killed.
Well, here's a guide containing 3 essential tips on how not to suck at PvP. Barricades. Most of you are probably familiar with hotkeys. Right-click on any bandage, medkit or splint and press any number on your keyboard ranging from 3 to 0. You will then be able to use this button to quickly pull out the item you selected, even while moving. But wait, I know, that's basics that everybody knows, right? But did you know that you can do the same thing with barricades? Not only are barricades extremely useful to prevent damage when you're getting shot at, they can also be used to cover up the loot of an enemy you just killed, so you can loot him without the risk of getting shot from all sides. Personally, I'm always carrying around 4 to 5 barricades, which I place whenever I'm getting shot at, or when I have to loot an enemy which lies in an open field. If you want, you can even pick up the barricades after use. Just make sure to repair them with a blowtorch, because, yeah, fuck logic. And because picking up damaged buildables will destroy them. But since they are so cheap to make anyways, I often just craft new ones whenever I use them. Old barricades left at your enemy's death position can also easily serve as a gravestone by simply adding a sign. If you do this, don't forget to also drop some cloth there so the returning enemy can wipe off his salty tears over his lost loot. Movement. Placing barricades is nice, but sometimes you don't really have any other choices than to just run. But not only when running away, also when pushing on your enemy's position is movement key to success. One big thing most people are doing wrong is sidestepping. Whenever you're trying to avoid shots, you should never ever use your move sideways keys. While moving, you should just run forwards and, if your stamina allows it, jump. At the same time, move your mouse quickly from one side to the other. Also make sure to leave some time in between moving the mouse, since this will make it even harder for your enemies to hit you. If you manage to get really good at this, you can even try to shoot at your enemy while moving like this. I often try to avoid some shots and confuse my enemy at the beginning of a battle, and then once I know exactly where he's at, I can shoot him quite easily, since his aim is probably already way off and he is standing still. You can also use this to briefly peek into buildings, since it is way faster than just walking up to the building and risking to get shot. But although good movement can save your ass many times, it won't work against enemies with proper aim, and walking over any open field should always be your last resort anyway, so keep this technique in mind, but use it sparingly. Spotting enemies. The one who shoots first is often the one who will survive at the end, obviously, but you can't really hit something you can't see. So spotting your enemy before he spots you is essential. You'd be surprised how many enemies you will spot by simply using this little trick. Take your time. It can be tempting to simply run into the military when it took you 50 minutes of walking to get there. But this is exactly the one mistake even intermediate players make. They either run into hotspots carelessly and get killed right away, or they are trying to sneak around every corner because they don't know if anyone is here and get killed. The proper way to enter a town, farm, outpost or anything at all basically is just walk on some elevated position and have a look. Look for things such as dead zombies, cars which are standing around at unusual positions, or obviously those fucking casuals who think green characters make them invincible. Some players are easier to spot than others, and sometimes you can even guess their age by just looking at them. Impressive, isn't it? A good rule of thumb is usually the brighter the skins of a character, the higher pitched his voice. Knowing where your enemy is at and doing so before he knows that you are there is basically already a free ticket to win an upcoming encounter, so use this technique often and take your time while doing it. Although it might be scary at first, spotting movement is the easiest if you stand completely still. That's just because how our human eye works. If there is not a lot of contrast, the only way to distinguish one object from another one is by movement. And I know standing completely still next to the military base is basically a call to please shoot me, but in the end you will be surprised how much easier it is to spot moving targets if you are not moving yourself. Take a look at this example. Did you spot him right away? And now let's look at the same footage if only your enemy is moving. Knowing where your enemy is at and doing so before he knows that you are there is basically already a free ticket to win an upcoming encounter, so use this technique often and take your time while doing it. In the end, I hope those 3 tips helped you at either getting better at PvP or defending yourself from bandits. If you want to fight with or against me, have a look at the description. There you will find a link to my Discord or the IP to my server. I'd be happy to see you there. Also, don't forget to click the bell icon if you choose to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and until next time.
Is ne?
Nej, einer har nicht.
Lever så.
Lauf den Base.
Yes! Yes! Finding a range! Jawohl!